Hey everyone, welcome to another episode. Super excited for our guest today. The title of this episode is Lessons from Hedera's Innovators. This is part of a larger series where we're showcasing projects within and entrepreneurs within the Hedera ecosystem. So I'm really excited to be chatting with everybody, getting into their backgrounds, why they decided to build on Hedera. It's going to be a really, really great conversation with some really smart people. So yeah, just wanted to welcome them up and welcome to all of our viewers here on X, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, LinkedIn. We're streaming everywhere right now. So yeah, if we want to let them up. Great. So I'll just do a quick introduction of everybody. We have May Chan, CEO of HashPack. Really glad to have her on here. Brandon, Director of Product at HGraph. Patricia, co-founder and CMO at SentX. So really great panelists here. Excited to have everybody here. I'll let them introduce themselves. And again, the theme of this day is exploring innovation and entrepreneurial spirit behind leading Hedera projects. So May, do you want to kind of kick it off with an introduction?
Yeah, sure. I am the CEO and one of four co-founders for HashPack Wallet. We are the leading wallet on Hedera right now. We hold probably over $1 billion worth of assets in across all of our users, although it's all non-custodial, so we don't actually have access to any of that. So I think they call that paper rich or something like that. Anyways, we are the leading wallet, and we're happy to be here, and I'd love to share our journey.
Glad to have you here. Brandon, love to hear.
Yeah, great to be here. Awesome to meet you, Zach. Yeah, Brandon here. Folks know me in the ecosystem. For those that don't, I'm Director of Product at HGraph. And HGraph is a technical partner for the ecosystem. We power data across the ecosystem. May just said in the chat here, Director of Cool Vibes. Hey, I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, bit of my background. I'm a musician. I watched the Mike Maloney video in 2019, like everybody, and got stoked about HBAR. And I'm just so thrilled to be working at a company like HGraph. And, fun bit of trivia. I mean, we've grown as a company. And if you use an application on Hedera, you're probably using HGraph. And we deliver data to everybody. And we work with some of the best brands in the ecosystem. So really excited to be here. This is going to be an awesome conversation.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to get into it. So I'll just kind of dive into the first question for the speakers.
You missed Patricia.
Oh, I'm sorry, Patricia. I don't know why it wasn't. I jumped right to the next question. Sorry, Patricia. Please go
That's
ahead.
okay. That's okay. You got distracted before with my cat meowing, so you were
I
afraid he was
did.
meowing again. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Please go ahead.
For the ones that don't know me, I'm Patricia, the co-founder and CMO of SentX. And SentX, we are the leading marketplace for NFTs and collectibles on the Hedera network. And it's really a pleasure to be here with all of you.
Thank you, and sorry about that. I'll get into the next question. So it's kind of on the founder's journey. So for all speakers, what inspired you to build on Hedera, and how did your entrepreneurial journey begin? Each of you has shaped different parts of the Hedera ecosystem. What first drove your team to innovate on Hedera? Start with that. And Patricia, if you want to go first, since I cut you off last time.
Thank you so much. So our journey on Hedera started more than 3 years ago. At this point, it's so crazy how we lose track of time when we are building something and having fun, like we are in this ecosystem. And we started as a launch pad. From there, we evolved to a marketplace. And I'm proud to say that right now we have what I believe is one of the best marketplaces in terms of the crypto ecosystem, with a lot of heavy features. People can do a lot of things here on Hedera that are native to us and that can't be done on other ecosystems. And this is something that we are really proud of, because when we think about the retail scene, we always think, maybe since we are growing at this point, there's not as many people around as other networks, and platforms will not be as complete as other networks. And that's definitely not the case. We have the best wallets, we have the best marketplaces, we have the best launchpads. We are really fortunate to have amazing creators that have done everything to ensure that when a user comes to Hedera, they are their experience is the premium one. And this is what we strive to build at SentX, making sure that people that trade NFTs are having a premium experience while doing that and having fun as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to get more into why you decided to build on Hedera as we kind of get into this. So thank you for that background. May, do you want to go next?
Sure. We started our journey in 2020. I think 2020, and then we officially went live at the end of 2020 and beginning of 2021. And we have a very funny story where we were basically just the 4 co-founders were strangers on the internet in a Discord server that was based around Hedera, and we were all just excited about the network and what its potential was. And we watched the Lehman Harvard video, for example, and got excited about that. And we were just chatting in the general chat. And one day I was playing around with the SDK, and I was like, "Does anyone want to make something together? Just for fun?" And so a bunch of people raised their hands. I think over about 24 people. But after a week, there were only 4 people left, and those 4 people became the co-founders of HashPack. And we got together in a chat and we're like, what do we want to make? Well, there's no wallet that we really like on the network, so let's make a wallet. And what are the minimum features that we need in order to launch a wallet? And what's our timelines? And what are the skills on the team? And it turns out we had a perfect mix of designers, project managers, and technical people to actually code and do security. And 6 months later, we launched the wallet, and that was it. So just people who are excited about the network coming in and building something in our garages, basically. That was a fun time.
That's awesome. I mean, it's cool that you went from kind of just meeting your co-founders on Discord to building that out 6 months later. The speed at which you can innovate in this industry is always so amazing to me. Also wanted to introduce Action, who is another host from Genzio. So we have a surprise guest on here, and we'll be kind of tag teaming this call or this live stream. Cool. Brandon, do you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah. And I mean, May, I think you're right. I think Discord and Telegram chats and stuff are definitely the new garage of the tech industry for sure. And I think that for me, you mentioned the Lehman Harvard talk and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty crazy. I mentioned kind of getting into Hedera myself around the 2019 time frame. And it's kind of crazy. You come for the technology, you get excited about HBAR, and then I'm on shows like this, and I get to work with folks like May and Patricia and so many different great people. And it really is kind of the community and the people that keep you here. And it's a crazy journey. Now I sit on the, Hiro Technical Steering Committee alongside Lehman and other great individuals, and help lead the HashGraph DeFi Alliance, and I'm a member of HashGraph Online. And there's just, you can't even imagine the amount of stuff that's happening in this ecosystem. It is really crazy. And I spend my days building products at HGraph, and HGraph got started in the ecosystem back in 2022. And really, it's we at HGraph, we have this shared vision of designing without technical limitations in mind. And I think that's kind of what attracts us to ecosystems like Hedera, because, it's just, we want to take on those challenges. And I think that first challenge was, getting the first mirror node online. It's a difficult business to get in. I mean, a lot of folks say you can't win, being a bootstrap startup. But I mean, the mountain to climb for us was really committing to decentralization, owning our own hardware and infrastructure. This is kind of the core ethos of of the Hedera network. You know, people were up in arms about AWS going down recently, but you know, Hedera went off without a tick just because of that ethos. And I think that you know, by staying focused on solving problems for our customers, we're now kind of like, you know, that thriving success story for the network. I mean, we see HashPack here, we see SentX. I mean, these are, you know, folks that just met in Discords, and now these are, you know, successful startups. And I think that's a real kind of thread that goes through the Hedera ecosystem, and it's staying power. These are, you know, companies that are almost a half a decade old at this point, which is so exciting. And like I said, we power data across the network ecosystem wide. And we'll definitely talk a little bit more about that. And I think that, you know, to your question, I mean, a lesson that we learned is, you know, I think that, and this goes back to, I think, any successful company in the tech space, is you just have to be that fine-tuned problem-solving machine, right? That's obsessed with customers. And I think that if we kind of keep doing that, we're going to keep seeing that success. And yeah, I think that's kind of our early moments in Hedera. And I mean, 2026 is looking pretty crazy. So pretty excited.
Awesome. No, yeah, I appreciate it. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, the staying power is really incredible. It's hard to build anything, and then it's even harder for it to last a long time, especially in an industry like Web3 that moves so fast. Action, did you want to ask a follow-up question or maybe add on here? For some reason, I don't think we can hear you.
Should we just let him talk and like not tell him though?
That would be funny, but not nice.
I'm kidding, Action. No, we can't hear
you. No worries. We'll just keep the flow. Okay, next question. Looking back since your first launch, what's the only challenge? What's the one early challenge that taught you the most? And this time, if we want to go in reverse order, Brandon, if you want to start on that one, a early challenge that taught you a lot.
I touched on that a little bit. Yeah, I think that early challenge is, I mean, when you get into the crypto space, the blockchain space, and you are, you know, providing, you know, things like we provide a GraphQL API, we host a mirror node for the Hedera network, multiple nodes. When you're doing that, when you're playing that infrastructure role, it's really hard to get that lift because it is a lot of hard work, a lot of upfront cost, but it's such a critical piece of the network that, you know, it just wouldn't work without. And the pathway to decentralization isn't just, you know, having the right side of the network, putting things into the network decentralized. It's also having the read side of the network, being able to see the data inside, be decentralized as well. And I think us being in this ecosystem and, you know, being a bootstrap startup, being an infrastructure company, I think that that was and still is, I think, a key challenge of ours. But again, it goes back to, you know, being that, you know, focused on solving problems for the ecosystem. And now with such a strong foundation and touching really every part of the network, I think that when we look at building products on top of that, it just allows HGraph to kind of approach that from an area of strength. And also too, it's really humbling to keep in mind how kind of reliant and dependent the ecosystem is on HGraph. And so that's always at the top of our mind, which is, you know, just being that reliable, stable, safe provider of data. And again, now that we're entering the DeFi space, the AI space, I mean, there's many challenges ahead, but I think that really that key challenge in learning is definitely just about starting and living and growing a little bit, you know, at that lower layer that a lot of folks are dependent on. And it is really challenging, but it is super, super rewarding to kind of see all the, you know, incredible things people build on top of our technology, which is amazing.
Now, Brandon, hopefully you can hear me now.
I can. Amazing.
Let's go. All right. I'm super excited to be here to be able to actually hear from you guys. I am a little jealous that you actually have a beautiful setup with that Rode microphone. I am traveling right now, but the exciting part of the travel is that I've been able to actually see, the HashGraph Association at work. And it's something that a lot of times people that are just in crypto don't always get to see. I'm in South Africa right now because of the G20. I'm working with the African Union, a few of their ambassadors, as well as the EU, kind of bringing a lot of things together. And to see HashGraph Association being a major sponsor of an event like this is, I honestly don't have words. I mean, they're standing alongside Microsoft, they're standing alongside Google. There's a real impact. And a lot of times we're in our bubbles inside of crypto, we forget how big of a reach that, this organization actually has. And it just goes to show that they are hard at work, even behind the scenes, when we might not even realize that they have something great out there, not only for builders, not only for founders that are in our existing ecosystem, our kind of crypto bubble, your CT that people may call it, but this spreads out so much further, and the reach has been incredible. To see people giving attention to the HashGraph Association and seeing other booths kind of empty, like, oh, that's boring, I want to see what these guys are up to. It is just a joy. It was one of those things I was not fully expecting to see, but walking by and going, wow, the people are really interested in what's going on here. It gives me a lot of hope, not only for where Hedera is going, but projects and founders in the Hedera ecosystem, because yes, they're going to find Hedera first. They are doing a lot of work to make sure that the word about this ecosystem is put out there. But when they find projects, they're going to find things that are really solving real world problems. If they come across you, Brian, I mean, the glasses are definitely going to get them to stick around. There's no question about that. But it's so exciting to see people excited, not only about blockchain technology, DLTs, but the projects within the ecosystem. And just a huge shout out to the HashGraph Association, because while you are trying to get people involved in the ecosystem, you never fail to highlight the wonderful builders and founders that are actually here already doing some incredible things. So I just, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all of you guys that actually have spent the time, energy, and effort to actually build something incredible in this platform. It is always exciting to speak. I don't think I've ever spoke to somebody, that's building on there that I didn't like. Maybe I'm afraid of May because she's an incredible fighter, but I do still like her, guys. Don't get me wrong. And it's thank you. It's the best way I can put it. It's just super exciting. And Zach, I think I've said enough. If you want to, kind of go over some questions, anything else that you want to go over these guys, or if you want me to do it, I'd be happy to.
Sure. So I think we were just going over early challenge, and we heard from Brandon, but May, do you want to kind of maybe give us an early challenge that you had that kind of taught you?
Yeah. But also just to piggyback on Action's comment there about community and meeting people in person, guys, check out HederaCon. That the date has been settled, and it's in Miami next year in May, I believe. So get that on your calendars if you can make it out there, because it's going to be real fun. This year's HederaCon, which was the first one, was really fun. So that's a great way to just get out and meet people. And the people here will have a booth if we can, right? Like, we're going to do our best to make it a great one. But anyways, challenges. So just like what Brandon said, and actually HGraph has done a huge lift in implementing infrastructure that we can rely on. But back in the early days, back in 2021, there was actually limited infrastructure, and it still worked, but it wasn't robust. It didn't have all the features that HGraph has today. So we had to work around a lot of that. And I think that that's one of the kind of parts about working in a cutting edge technology like crypto, like Hedera, where you get in there and you want to do something, and the thing that you want to do isn't technically possible yet because the things haven't been built. And so for us at HashPack, the big one was there was no way to sign transactions without giving over your private key. When we first came onto the scene, OGs remember, you're copy pasting your private key into dApps. That was a no-no. So the first thing that we did was we looked into seeing if Wallet Connect worked on Hedera. And at the time, it was not technically possible. We spent a month doing that in that 6-month period that we started. And we decided to roll our own, which is called HashConnect. And that is, we're now deprecating it because now Wallet Connect does work and has worked for like a year or 2 years now. Thanks to, the great work at HGraph guys too. They were a pivotal part of it. I think Wallet Connect was one of your first projects, right?
One of the first. We've had many, but we had a pleasure working with you guys on that.
A big one, right? So challenges was figuring out what we needed to build and then building exactly that and then getting a product out the door. Because like we could have gone down the rabbit hole of building a whole bunch of stuff, but we built the most critical thing. And I think building Hash Connect as one of our first features really laid the foundation for everything else that came. So we critically built that and then we just made a great product. But yeah, challenge. And I think just the way that we worked around this challenge too is just leveraging the community that we had, working with everybody that we could to build out what we were doing. So we weren't in it alone. So yeah, I think that that's going to be a main thing that I talk about today because that's critical.
Yeah, it's always fascinating to hear about how community comes together in Web3, especially the Hedera community, and really gets things done and helps elevate these founders. I think Hedera has one of the most engaged communities that we've worked with. So, we appreciate all the community who's out there watching this stream today and for supporting these great founders. Patricia, do you want to kind of maybe talk about a challenge that you had early on?
In terms of infrastructure and developing the platform, we didn't notice a lot of technical challenges. And we have built SentX all natively on top of the Hedera consensus services. We don't use smart contracts or anything like that. So it's a fully native platform. And on that end, it was great to build, and our dev and my other co-founder Sammy loves building on Hedera. And we were so sad to know that Hash Connect were being deprecated because we love Hash Connect so much at SentX, something that never failed. It was always a staple for people to be able to connect at SentX without any issues whatsoever. So it was a great one from you guys for sure. And the challenge that we faced the most in the beginning was we were building everything extremely publicly because we were something really new, a new launch pad, asking everyone what should we add next, what should we build next. And then as we expanded and we added the marketplace, we started adding a lot more tools. We started dealing with time issues as well, because a lot of tools to build, not enough time to build everything. And we had to shift to a more private building in a way where we still talk to our communities, we inform people about what we are doing, but it's not as immediate. So there was that shift that became a bit of challenge for us because we were used to talking to everyone about everything that we were doing. Like we thought about a new feature and that 30 minutes after we were telling folks we are going to build this. It was that excitement to share everything right away. So for us, it was the biggest challenge, changing that to building a bit more privately and announcing things when they are ready to launch and not like 6 months in advance when we thought about those for the first time.
All right, don't stop there. I definitely want to hear more because I think people forget that a lot of the founders that are in this ecosystem, they started with just an idea, a thought, and they said, I can build something really cool. Can you kind of walk us through that process? Like what actually inspires you to create SentX, and how did that actually evolve? Because it's not always the first idea that comes to fruition, it's the idea that gets things kind of started. So now you guys are like the most trusted NFT marketplaces in their ecosystem. What was the not only, like I said, the inspiration behind it, but how did it evolve to what it is today?
So this is also our garage type story. I think everyone on Hedera has one. So in the beginning, before SentX or anything like that, our co-founder Sam, he was launching NFT collections on Hedera. He's a very talented dev on his real life, on his job and everything. And then as a stress reliever, he was launching collections. And he missed some features in terms of the launch pads that he was using at the time to launch those collections. So when we missed those, he missed those, and we thought, okay, Dev, Sam, you're a dev, you're very talented. Why not build a platform on Hedera? And you could build a small launch pad and launch the collections there. And then he started adding a lot of the things that he missed on the platforms that he was using. And then the most obvious choice at that point was to add also the marketplace side of things, because they go hand in hand, having a launchpad and having the marketplace for people to be able to list their NFTs right away in the same platform. And it was crazy how fast things have evolved from a small platform just for someone to launch their own art that they were creating. And I have to say that sadly, for the last 2 years, Sam has not created any more art because there's not enough time for that. So yeah.
Oh, isn't that the truth? It's a little sad sometimes to like have it to put something aside that you really love to do, but for the betterment of ecosystems, right? I know that firsthand. Like having a YouTube channel that blew up, over like 12,000 subscribers in 9 months, grew so quickly. To scale that back to help other creators, and to ensure that ecosystems have the support that they need. It hurts. I'm not gonna lie. It definitely hurts, but the reward is seeing you guys succeed, seeing projects that actually matter, make a difference and an impact. I'm just a little fish in a very, very large ocean, and to know that you guys are pushing forward and having the impact that you're having makes it all worth it. So let me keep this going. So, May, what about yourself? Can you kind of walk us through a little bit of the story behind HashPack, how it was founded, and more than anything, like what sets you guys apart from everybody else?
Yeah, so we started with an idea with 4 people that we were strangers on the internet. We built out an MVP in 6 months, and then just launched it. And the part there was because we are from a Discord server, we already had a community. We had the Discord server where we had friends, and we were like, hey guys, we're building this wallet. Do you guys want to test it out? Just don't put anything in it yet because it's still in progress, right? And then we had it launch on testnet, and then we did all the checks, and then eventually we launched. And when we built out Hash Connect, which allowed dApps to now work because you can now sign things through your wallet without giving your private key to a dApp, we saw the launch of 3 NFT marketplaces, which within the first 4 months of that, right? Like it just jumped. It was really fast. And the whole time we were just staying in touch with the community. We were just making sure that what we were building was hitting the things that people needed. And I think that from the beginning, we had this vision of creating a wallet that made it easy to do things on the network. So that was the most important thing. It was that it was simple. And using that as sort of the North Star, the guiding kind of, what's the word, mantra of the company, we built out a bunch of different features that just made it easy to do different things. And then we had a community that came back to us and said, hey, we are trying to do this and it didn't work, or we want to be able to make this kind of dApp, but you guys don't support this kind of NFT or something like that. And so being connected with the community, we were able to guide the development of the wallet so that it hit the points that people needed and people were excited about. And yeah, the other part of that was when we launched, we quickly became the top wallet on Hedera. And that was also around when the foundation was first getting started, the HBAR Foundation. And so I got in chats with the directors of the HBAR Foundation. I said, hey, we've got a really great wallet, but our co-founders were part-time because we all have day jobs. We're all senior level people in our companies that we work on. And if we wanted to do this properly, we have to be full-time on this. We can't just do this part-time anymore. Can we get a grant? And so the HBAR Foundation was pivotal for us to actually get serious about working in Hedera, working in Web3, and actually quitting our jobs and moving into this company that we had just founded in our garages. So one of the things that I've been doing a lot over the past few years is helping a bunch of companies with that sort of pitch to the HGraph Foundation and sort of getting them in contact with people who can help them in their entrepreneurial journey. And, just trying to figure out or trying to help those people who are like, hey, we've got this great idea. We've got maybe this testnet application that we put together and we think it has some legs. How do we take the next step? How do we make this more serious? I will say that it's not about getting the funding and then getting something going, because if you have to have funding in order to push that out, it's really hard to convince somebody to give you money, anybody. And also, just because you have money doesn't mean you're going to be successful. So having a product out there, having something that works, and then having users that like what you're doing gives you that foundation that you can build something more seriously on. So, we didn't go out for funding before we launched our product. And I think that that's maybe one of the challenges that that people who I talk to have to deal with, have to figure out, how do we get our product that we're excited about out there so that people start using it, and people hear about us and people get excited about us, and then we can take the next step. So yeah, talking about a bunch of random stuff, but
I think that the best part of talking about the random stuff is that it's all really great. So it's it doesn't matter what direction you go, May. I think that there's not a single thing that has happened in you guys' history that isn't meaningful or impactful to where you guys are today. Brandon, not to put you on the spot, I definitely want to talk about innovation, expansion, and how you guys are all building utility here. But you got to give me a little something, because these ladies were incredible, kind of breaking some of these things down. Can you kind of break down maybe the HGraph mission, vision, and what you guys stand for?
Hey, you don't have to twist my arm. So yeah, let's dive into it. I mean, like I said, HGraph was founded back in 2022, and like May was touching on, I mean, nobody really cared or understood what Hedera mirror nodes were about. We like to call it the other half of the Hedera network, because it is the whole experience that people have. And so it's just been incredible to see progress there. But in its current state, HGraph is a trusted technical partner, and we work with all of the best brands across the whole Hedera ecosystem. I mean, this includes SentX and HashPack, which it's so crazy to be in this ecosystem, because I'm just, amongst friends. It's crazy. Action, it felt like it is yesterday. I was in Denver, just chatting with you about some stuff. And then I'll rattle off a few others. I mean, of course, we work with the Hedera Foundation, HashGraph, Kabila, Bonzo Finance. We work with the HashScan team for network explorers. We work with DeFi platforms like Orbit. I mentioned the groups like HashPack or HashGraph Online, Hedera itself, and there's a bunch of other people. If I didn't mention you, just know that we really, really appreciate you. And then from a team perspective, the leadership team, it's myself, director of product, Tyler McDonald, who is our founder and CEO. Just, I mean, if you were to open up the dictionary for cracked dev, Tyler's image would pop up. He's probably one of the best kept secrets of this ecosystem. So everyone give him a follow on X. And then we've got Brett Williamson, who's our head of business development. Just an absolute legend, and it's just crazy to be working with him every day. He's from Wells Fargo in the traditional finance background. So it's just great to be working with him. And I mean, also we're hiring. I mean, check out our X profile. We've got some positions open. So, I mean, send us your resume. We're looking, everyone wants a piece of HGraph these days. And our focus is, like I said, Hedera mirror node APIs, like our GraphQL API, REST, JSON RPC Relay. I mean, everyone knows about those. We do bespoke advisory and consulting services. So actually building applications, products, software. I mean, we're cooking on some pretty cool stuff with SentX too, which I'm pretty excited to share more about as the year goes on. And we do that for, startups, leading enterprises, organizations, some you'll find on the governing council, and also, AI solutions that change the way we interact with, hash graphs and blockchains. And most recently, stablecoin bridging and DEX aggregation platforms. We want to support the Hedera DeFi ecosystem. I know we'll talk a little more about that. And again, yeah, we build for developers, startups, enterprises, open source groups, humans and AI agents alike. Really, yeah. It's, anyone or anything determined enough to make their vision come true. I mean, there's a lot of crazy people in this ecosystem. We love it.
You got to go in the AI thing, because
Sure.
everybody is literally wanting to hear about that. I mean, give me a little bit more on the MCP, right?
Sure.
On the MCP server and everything that's going on in there, because I mean, AI models are really literally changing the world, and they have a pretty big impact in what's going on in their ecosystem. Like, if you can give use cases, because I think it's a little bit out of reach sometimes for people to understand what it actually means. Like, believe me, I can nerd out with you all day long, but for the person that just clicked on that LinkedIn link and wants to know what's actually going on, like, what can this actually be used for?
Gotcha. Okay, that's a great question. So maybe a quick little 1 minute MCP 101. So when we talk about agents and the agentic economy and different things like that, it's every buzzword under the sun. But really what we're talking about is an agent is, an autonomous, we'll call it like little being that's out there. Maybe you've seen some on X that kind of have their own wallets and make their own trades and do all sorts of different things. So that's one side of the spectrum, is kind of totally autonomous. They do their own thing. I like to think of it as they got to find a way to pay their cloud hosting bill so they don't die, essentially, right? There's these totally autonomous agents. And on the other side, you've got very guided AI workflows that you need to prompt, you're in full control. And then there's all sorts of different things in the middle. And many people are familiar with applications like, of course, ChatGPT, Claude Code, all these different apps that you use. And if we take a little step back a couple of years ago, they were really cool. They could write you song lyrics and they could, do a bunch of different things, but they couldn't do things like browse the web or tell you the time. And I like to think of an agent or an LLM, a large language model, kind of like a super genius in an empty room that you talk through a door at, right? And if you ask it certain questions, it can only tell you so much. And these things have gotten really smart, not so much because of the actual models that have improved. Of course, there's been a lot of innovations there, but it's really about the tools that you give them, right? So if we put in that empty room, if we put a clock and we give it a little computer so it can browse the web, and we, give it some Python coding tools and stuff, all of a sudden, the different types of questions you can ask it like just explode. So you can do so many exciting things with it. But still, if you were to ask, let's say ChatGPT, like, what's inside my wallet, it's not going to know, right? It doesn't have access to that Hedera data, but HGraph has all the Hedera data. So the 1+1 situation there is really important. And so Ash, shout out to Ash from the Hedera Foundation, came to us and says, hey, let's cook on something really exciting. And so we collaborated with the Hedera Foundation on this, and we developed our beta MCP server. And so it's kind of like, well, what is that? Another 3-letter acronym. Great. So an MCP server it's a model context protocol, right? So this is a very popular open source standard for connecting AI apps, like ChatGPT and Claude. And it allows you to talk to the Hedera network, right? So it's the same way that you would connect GitHub or your Google Calendar or Notion to ChatGPT or something like that. It's these connectors that allow it access to these tools. You can almost think of it as like the USB port for AI, essentially. And most developers, use AI in their workflows, but those workflows don't have access to that on-chain network data. So what our MCP server does is it connects to AI apps you already use and allows you to talk to the network. So you can ask it things like, I need some kind of report, or I need to know my portfolio, or I need to know recent transactions, or all sorts of different exciting things. Maybe there's some very complex things you want to know about, like, does the network even have this data? Now you have a way to actually go search and find it. And this just kind of completes the loop. It's like if you're building applications and these agents kind of can see and read the network, then it just kind of completes that loop, and it just kind of turns into a much more effortless experience. And so the actual use cases here, because I think that's the most important part of like, okay, all this stuff's great. What does it mean for me? I think the key things are wallets and dApps. They're going to be able to provide better AI-enabled experiences for users to understand network activity or do their internal reporting, which allows them to make better product choices. It's really about when you look at something like our MCP server, all our MCP server really does is take messages from an LLM. So you might ask the LLM, like, what's in my wallet? The LLM goes, I got to use this tool. And basically, it just sends that to the MCP server. I am reading the chat, by the way, but I'm a bad multitasker. And then basically what it does is it receives a message back. And the approach we take is with the information that we're sending to these LLM apps, we want to approach it like an accessibility type thing. And a great example of that is, like I said, they don't really know how to tell time, and all of the time and time-based entries in a mirror node is all in nanoseconds, which is a whole other thing that it has to do. So we deliver the current nanosecond timestamp to an LLM when they get that message. So it's these small little quality of life things that we do for these LLMs. Those are the things that make it all work. And so when we translate that into retail users, they're just going to be able to explore the network at the speed of their own imagination, right? It's like they can just have a conversation with the network and actually figure out what's going on. And I think that to wrap it up, I mean, this MCP server is really just the beginning. It's available for everyone right now. We just launched it this morning, which is very exciting. hgraph.com/MCP. And I mean, I can't share too much about what we're working on, but we're working on a lot more. And it's really about making it as easy as possible to just talk to the network.
You said something important here. You said that this is really critical for wallets in the Hedera ecosystem. Mm-hmm. So it just so happens that we have an incredible wallet founder with us. May, what does that mean for you?
Oh, what a surprise. Yeah, Brandon's... well, first of all, I think that Hedera is making a lot of waves in the AI space and putting a lot of effort in building out AI infrastructure, and HGraph is one of those specifically critical teams in that. But yeah, wallets definitely have a place for AI, because what AI does, and particularly I'm thinking about chatbots, the stuff that you as a user type into an AI, and then you say it in regular words that humans use, and then the AI spits back information that you can read and understand, right? And wallets are a interface for users onto the network. So if we incorporate AI into this, we can make the user experience a lot more easy, a lot more natural. You don't have to have special knowledge of how the network works, or if you do, you can ask the AI and it can explain it to you. So I guess I'll just go into the thing that I was just going to talk about today, which is we are working on an AI product that we're calling Concierge. It's in beta right now, or rather in development right now, not yet public beta. But the idea is just that you can use an AI to figure out information. What does my account look like? Are there any red flags for security? You know, what do I have to worry about if there's any, like, it could tell you like, oh, you've got these allowances that let these specific accounts spend out of your account that you set up earlier. I think SentX uses allowances, where if you want to put your NFT onto the marketplace, then it stays in your account until someone buys it, and SentX then uses that allowance to transfer your NFT. Well, you might forget that you put in this allowance for this NFT a million years ago, and the AI could tell you have this, right? And then you don't have to know which tab to go into or select that specific NFT in your wallet in order to see that. It can just bring that out to you. You can ask it about the information about a token, and Tyler, our CTO, has a very interesting video where he posted a demo of it. And actually, if you guys have a link to that Twitter post, I think you sent it to, or I sent it to you guys, you had it in the docs. But if you want to post it on the screen, people can have a look at it and see it in action. But basically, you can say like, oh, can you do a technical analysis of this token for me, and like not financial advice, but like it was just an example of all the information that you could get from a token. You could get, I think you can do price feeds. If you can't, I'm looking forward to HGraph supporting that so that we can get price feeds for tokens. Yeah, it's on the list. It's actually complicated, but you know, we're trying to do it to make the information as accessible as possible. And then and so that's all great. You can ask questions, you can figure things out on the network, and that's like one part of it. But then the fun thing about a wallet is that now we can use an AI to help create transactions and execute things on the network. And the way that works is that your private key still lives on your device. It doesn't ever leave your device. It doesn't go to the AI. So the AI doesn't know any information that it shouldn't. But what we do is you ask it, can I send this amount of HBAR to this account? And it creates the transaction that we then put into the chat window, and it says, here's the transaction. Here's the summary of what it's going to do. Do you want to do this or not? So you have to approve it. It's called human in the loop, and basically means that nothing happens on your account without you manually approving it. But then you could be like, well, I want to swap this amount of HBAR for this token, or I want to do this and that. And the AI will take your natural language and it will interpret it, and then it will put it into a prompt that you can then review and make that happen. And then you don't have to know all the intricate details about the network, or you don't have to go to specific dApps. If we've integrated them, that's a big thing. But we would love to have this AI just kind of be your partner, and you can just talk to it, and then you'll be like, well, what is this new token on the network and how does it look? Okay, it's actually pretty hot and I want to get some of it. So can we swap for it? And then the AI just does that all for you. And I think that that's a really cool user experience. The big thing about this, and because it's still in development, and even after we launch it, it will still be in development, is that we want to see how people will use it. We want to see what's important to people or what they get stuck on. And then we want to make it just as easy and intuitive as possible so that it makes it easy to work on the network. And I think that that's the exciting part here, is that it's going to change the paradigm of how you interact with the network so that it just becomes easy, effortless, natural, while still being secure, right? And I think that that's going to be really fun.
Oh, I love that so much. And not to, belittle all the progress on the wallet, but we need things to put into wallets. So Patricia, let me bring you into the conversation here, because you guys have set up some pretty unique rewards mechanisms around the SentX token. Can you kind of walk us through what that looks like as far as benefits for people essentially trading NFTs, or even collectors even?
Yes, absolutely. So we always look for ways to reward people that utilize the platform, and even the NFTs that I was telling you before that were done before SentX ever existed. We then integrated those NFTs into the platform and into the project as rev sharing NFTs. And while thinking for ways to reward people that utilize the platform, we thought about launching the SentX token. The SentX token was launched in mid-2023, and we did it in a way that it's sort of mining SentX, because when you buy an NFT, when you sell an NFT, or when you mint an NFT from the launchpad, you get SentX token proportional to the amount of HBAR that you are spending. And then you can use those tokens to buy NFTs on the SentX store, where we acquire NFTs from collections that are live on the ecosystem, and then we put those NFTs there to be bought with SentX tokens at a discount. So the ones that hold the SentX token can buy those NFTs below the current floor price, and this incentivizes more trading and gives more volume to projects as well. And we do this with the distribution of our profits that we get from the platform. And it's a way to keep people excited. There's always a liquidity pool where people can provide liquidity for the SentX token and get rewards from that. So there's ways for people to be happy by utilizing the platform, because everyone loves earning something extra for doing something that you were already doing. And it gamifies this a little bit as well, because then you do a trade, you go to SentX, you see, oh, I have here 5 SentX that I can claim. Let me see how much this is in terms of dollars. Let me see, I have this bag of SentX here. Let me see what NFTs I can go and grab from the SentX store, because I'm going to get those at a discount. And maybe I'm going to list those at floor and still make a bit of money from doing that. So it's always ways to make sure that the ones that utilize the platform are being rewarded, are happy with their experience. And like all of us said here, for us, the most important thing about running a project is user experience, and making sure that those users feel valuable, because none of us would be here without our users. It's very important to make sure that they know this. And by doing this reward system, we can ensure that we give that bit of extra mile, so that things are in a way that people say, okay, I like using SentX, I would use it either way, but I'm getting something extra by doing so.
Talking about doing something extra, I know that we are a little short on time to talk about this, but huge shout out to you, Brandon, for like stepping out of your comfort zone and heading into Washington D.C. to have like a high level meetings from the Federal Reserve to the SEC to the CFTC. Like you're killing it, brother. Like so happy that you're actually doing all those things. But give me a little insight as far as acquisition is concerned. I know that there was a swap, a bridge that was acquired, and the goal here is basically to take things to the next level. So what does that look like, and how does it shape the next phase of DeFi on Hedera?
Great question. And a quick shout out. I personally did not get to go to Washington. That was Brett, our head of business development, but I did get the inside scoop. He was in Slack giving all the ins and outs, and we have an article with all the insights, so folks can check that out. But yeah, when it comes to the DeFi side of things, big news. HGraph has acquired EdaSwap and EdaBridge. These are beloved DeFi platforms in the ecosystem, and shout out to Danny, the founder of those platforms. He's an incredible developer and just an awesome collaborator. And basically, EdaBridge is built on layer 0. It allows you to move stable coins across Hedera, Ethereum, Base, Polygon, Avalanche, more to come. And bridging is really a critical thing to grow the Hedera network. And EdaSwap is the first DeX aggregator on the Hedera network. It sources liquidity across the different decentralized exchanges on Hedera for token swaps at the best price. And the big news here is that this new brand, EdaFinance, brings the bridge and the swap platforms together at last. And it's going to allow us to do some really exciting innovations, leveraging our software and hardware stacks and infrastructure. And I think we're going to be able to help level up the Hedera DeFi ecosystem. And when it comes to shaping the next phase of DeFi on Hedera, I think for us, I mean, of course, things like TVL are really, really important, but our number one focus by far when it comes to DeFi is ensuring that as much money as possible stays in the user's wallet as they are bridging and swapping across networks. It can't be overstated. There's so many different steps that have to happen to move funds around. And for us, I think our singular goal is, you can talk about fees, percentages here and all these different things there, but what it really comes down to is, how much money do I have in my wallet ending up where I want it to be versus when I started? Hopefully it's close to the exact same amount that you had. So it's a huge focus of ours. It's, ease, efficiency, reliability. Like these are the things we're focusing on first. And we plan to have EdaFinance be a platform supercharged by, our AI products, all of the existing infrastructure we have. We just want to have a best-in-class DeFi experience for humans and agents alike on Hedera. And we have a lot more coming. We have a lot of work to do, obviously, to get these platforms fit for purpose. So we encourage everyone to go check out at EdaFinance on X, check out eda.finance. They're still running just as they were, and we want people to be reassured that no interruption in service is there. It's just going to get better and bigger, and really, I think that Hedera really is positioned to lead in the future kind of like agentic economy. People paying agents, agents paying agents, devices paying agents. Like there's so many crazy things that are going to happen. And there's so many incredible platforms out there like Saucer Swap, Bonzo Finance. It really is just about, like you were talking about action, like we were talking about just as a group, this is a community effort, right? So this is HGraph throwing our hat into the DeFi ecosystem and just saying, how can we help, essentially? So we're just thrilled to be here.
Man, I love that. That's so exciting. There's so many innovations and things happening inside of this ecosystem, and we'll definitely touch on a lot of them even more in depth. Come in a later day. Let's put it that way. Definitely, kind of a call to make sure you guys are following along, sending those notifications for streams and things that go on the channel. All the channels, to be honest with you, from your LinkedIn to YouTube to X, wherever you might be watching today. But Patricia, real quick, before I get your outlook and what's going on and where we're headed. Can you kind of give me just a little insight into the wonderful platform that you guys have put together to help new creators? Because this is near and dear to my heart. I may not be creating as much content as I was. I'm spending more time helping other creators really hone in on their craft. And I'm talking about from, having conversations with your top altcoin daily guys to people that literally have less than 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Like, I'm looking out for these people and it's exhausting. What are you doing? What are you building? What are you making to make their lives easier?
So what we added to SentX quite recently, it was what we call Dreamforge. We always have these whimsical names for our features, and with Dreamforge you can mint and launch your own NFT collection. If you're someone that is into art, or you want to create a collection, for example, with AI tools, we have AI generation inside of SentX as well, that people can go there, test it, play with it. And the best thing is that we don't have a subscription based for utilizing the AI creation tools like you have on other platforms. So, for example, you have 5 HBAR to your allowance, to your AI account, and then you can just start creating and generating AI images, AI videos as well. And when those funds are spent, you're done. You don't need to add anything else. You don't need to pay anything monthly. We thought it would make a lot of sense to add that. And then, like I said, people are able to create their NFT collections, upload their images, their metadata, and bring their projects to life on Hedera in what we think it's the easiest way for those that are not extremely technical. And we hope that our experience is extremely easy for people that are new to Hedera and want to create and launch an NFT collection.
You're muted.
You're muted.
That click didn't go through. I promised you guys. I know what I'm doing here. I've done this before. I promise you. No, but I definitely want to kind of get a little bit of insight, as well as maybe a little support. If you guys don't mind closing out that way. What is it that you're excited about that's coming up? And I definitely want to start off with you, May, because I'm not going to say much, but cards and things of that nature are definitely there. But also for people that are excited to come into this ecosystem, can you give them a piece of advice or what they should be looking into and what might be important for them?
I think, okay, first advice, because that's the easy one, is just find a community of people who are excited about Hedera or doing things in the space that you like, or just find a general community, Discord, Telegram, something like that, and just start meeting people, start talking to people. I think that that's the best way to get involved. And if you're building something or if you want to see what's happening, I think that connecting with the people who are there, I think that that's really the way to do it. And as for forward-looking stuff and things that we're excited about, we are looking into a payment card for HashPack and for Hedera that will make it a lot easier to use your crypto, to spend your crypto without doing conversions and stuff. And we ran out of time. So I think we'll put a pin in that and talk about it on a later show. But if you're excited about hearing that, guys, hit us up on Twitter, hit up Genzio, hit up Hedera, get them to start thinking about it or talking about it, and tell us what you want from a payment card, because we're really in the early stages here, and we're really just trying to gauge whether the community wants this, what they're excited about. And if you hop on our Twitter or hop on our website, we have a landing page for this kind of topic where you can sign up to an email list, and we'll give you updates on that. But it also helps us gauge how much interest there is in this. So if you're interested, please do reach out to us and let us know, so that we can, decide to go forward with it or not. Because like I said earlier on in this stream, the stuff that we do is all about what the community wants and what makes it easier for people. And so if this is something that you guys want, let us know so that we can get it moving. So yeah, thanks.
I love it. Love it. Brendan, all right, real quick from your end. I don't know if you can do it real quick, but advice, okay. What's next?
Okay, I'll try. What's next? I mean, Edda Finance is going to grow into a leading platform, and I think that we're really going to help lift the DeFi ecosystem on Hedera. HGraph AI is going to play a critical role in ensuring Hedera leads the future agentic economy. We're going to be sharing more about some really cool projects we've been working on. 2026 is going to be a massive year. I'm super excited. I would say a phrase when it comes to like innovation in Hedera, I mean, a phrase that always comes to my mind is co-opetition. Right? We're in an ecosystem. That means we all depend on each other. Nobody has to fail for you to succeed. And I mean, I just want to take a minute and just express our immense gratitude to partners, customers, users. Like HGraph would not exist without you. And you've always been our sole focus, and it will remain that way. It's why we're building the things we are. We just want to solve problems. And the lessons and advice, just talking about problems, I would just say stay focused on problem solvings. I mean, today it's easier than ever to ideate, create, build, ship. I think the true edge now that you could have is just understanding how to find problems to solve, specifically high impact, high frequency problems, and knowing which ones to focus on. Just be a problem solving machine, right? The success will follow, but you just got to focus on problem solving, I think. And just a win for everyone in this Hedera ecosystem is a win for everybody, right? So opportunity leads to opportunity. Just get out there and do things, I would say.
Love to hear it, man. So exciting. All right, Trisha, last but definitely not least, how about from your end of things, a piece of advice and what's next?
Okay, so one, I want a HashPack card. That needs to be said. For the advice part, make sure that you get familiar with the ecosystem. If you are a builder, if you are a dev, see what's missing, because there are still things that are missing. There are still places where you can shine without having people creating the same things over and over and over. So see what's missing, create that. Get connected with the community, try to get support to get your project out there, and it will work out, because it might not always be easy, but we are the living proof that it works out, and there's a lot of room still to grow for us all. And in terms of a sneak peek, Brandon, I'm going to mention that thing that we are doing together as an alpha here on the chat. So we are working with HGraph to change our SentX UI, because we want to make things, we have so many features that it becomes a bit chaotic and a bit crazy for new folks that are not used to Web3. So we are going to be working with these amazing guys to change our UI, to bring an easy mode, a pro mode, make things really separated, nice and clean. And it's going to be amazing to be able to show this to you guys in 3-4 months, more or less. I don't want to overpromise, because it's really important to make it right and take our time to bring this live, and making sure that all the features that you guys love are still there.
So excited. I use SentX all the time, so I'm just like so stoked.
That's so great to hear, guys. That's so incredible to hear you guys working together and everything. But I gotta say thank you to everybody that's actually listening in. We don't take it lightly that you guys are giving of your time to learn more about what's happening in this ecosystem. Putting these streams together is for two reasons. First, make sure that
Well, we just want to thank everybody for stopping by.
yeah, no, I appreciate everybody in the back that just kicked me off stage. Thank you guys, appreciate it. That was great. No, but I want to say like it does matter. So twofold. First, that reach is important. So new people find out what's actually happening in this ecosystem. But we want to make sure that y'all feel connected. And big shout out to EP24 that's put in a few questions. Unfortunately, we're out of time to be able to go over those. But I'm going to promise you something. I will integrate your questions into the next stream and ensure that we get those questions answered live so that you get the feedback that you deserve. So thank you for engaging. Thank you for being here and participating in all this. It does matter to us tremendously. And it's something that we don't take for granted. So much so that we want to make sure that we actually take care of it and platform your questions. And as always, stay connected. If you have questions, reach out to any of these guys up here. Like May was saying, they are so eager to actually connect with the community and provide support, provide the help that you guys need to take things to the next level. Even if you're looking at, maybe having that word that Brandon was saying, the competitor while working together thing, we're here for that as well. Co-opetition, that's what it is. Even if you're, thinking that you might not even be getting an answer because, I'm gonna, go against what, don't worry about it. We're here to support people that want to build. That's the heart of this ecosystem right now. And again, can't thank you all enough for tuning in. And speakers, you guys are phenomenal. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing not only what you're building, but what's in your heart, because that definitely matters a lot. Really appreciate you all. And make sure you guys are setting those notifications so the next time we go live, you guys get notified of it, because this is an incredible, incredible time to be getting onboarded on Hedera. Don't miss it. I don't know how else to say it, but just don't miss it. Everything that's going on here is big, and I can't wait to see the next phase of things rolling out, and especially that card. May I need a card. Thank y'all so much. We'll see you next time.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.